This is episode 281 of Teacher Approved.
Welcome to another Can't Miss Classic. On Thursdays this summer, we are sharing a hand-picked teacher-approved episode to meet you right where you are this summer.
Most of us have spent the last few weeks thinking about the first day of school and all of the details, what we're going to teach, what the room will look like, what our students will do.
But there's a whole part of that day that we tend to skip over until we're standing in it. And that is the hour before the students arrive and the hour after they leave. Those bookend moments end up shaping how the first day unfolds and what day two looks like.
So this episode is really one of my favorites, and it's about what we call the back to school sandwich. So stick with us here. The first day itself is the sandwich filling, but the bread on either side, that hour before and after, that's what's holding the whole thing together.
This episode walks you through 3 categories of teacher self-care that apply both before and after that first day: emotional prep, logistical basics, and a recovery plan.
So let's get into it.
You're listening to Teacher Approved, the podcast helping educators elevate what matters and simplify the rest. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. We're the creators behind Second Story Window, where we give research-based and teacher-approved strategies that make teaching less stressful and more effective. You can check out the show notes and resources from each episode at secondstorywindow.net.
We're so glad you're tuning in today. Let's get to the show.
Let's start with a try it tomorrow, where we share a quick win that you can try right away. Emily, what is our suggestion this week?
This week, try creating a teacher prep soundtrack for yourself. Put together a playlist of songs that energize you and make you feel confident. Whether it's upbeat pop or calming instrumental music or throwback hits that make you smile, having a go-to playlist can be a game changer when you're setting up your classroom.
Music really can shift your whole mood and energy level. Plus, if you are feeling good while you're working, that positive energy carries over into everything you create for your students and their families.
And if you have a new playlist every year, then it will be like when you hear those songs, you can remember the year that you were setting up that classroom. That could be a fun idea.
Oh, that could be fun.
If you like this idea or anything else we share here on the podcast, would you take a second and give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify?
Over the years, Emily and I have created an extensive library of back-to-school products. To help you find the tools that will make the start of your new year easier, today we are spotlighting our guided discovery resource. Tell us about this one, Emily.
This one's one of our favorites, and we talked about it in detail in episode 146. So the short version is that guided discovery is a hands-on way to introduce students to your expectations around managing and using school tools. So if you're tired of smashed glue sticks and chewed pencils, this is the resource for you.
Now, it's got a long name because we needed to come up and search. So it's called The Guided Discovery of Classroom Procedures and Rules for School Supplies for Back to School. But there is a link in the show notes if you want a shortcut.
So in this resource, we give you a set of Google Slides and a scripted lesson plan for introducing more than 20 common school tools. So of course, we cover pencils and crayons and scissors, but there's also materials for dice and clipboards and magnet letters and Chromebooks. We tried to really cover all the bases.
Yes, and you definitely don't have to do all of them, but for any tools that you use, you will be so glad to have this. Each lesson covers the 6 parts of a guided discovery activity so that you are inviting students into the process of establishing the standards that they are agreeing, hopefully, to follow all year.
And what I really love is that for each of the school tools, there's a quick, fun activity so students can experience using that tool right away. So for example, if you're introducing markers, there's a small coloring page. For clipboards, there's a short around the room scavenger hunt so they can practice using a clipboard. Each activity is targeted to keep things engaging, but also moving quickly.
This is one of our resources that gets the best feedback. Here's a little share from Lynn, who said, "This has been a game changer for how my students use our classroom materials. It is easy to assume that kids will know how to use pencils and erasers, but they don't know my expectations. Now they do, and I am so much happier because of it."
Lots of O's in so. Plus, besides the lesson materials, there are a whole bunch of resources to help you address any hiccups down the road. When someone stabs the glue with their scissors or colors on the carpet, there are materials just waiting for you so you can address the problem right away.
So head to the show notes and grab the link for the Guided Discovery of School Tools resource. It will make your whole year run smoother.
We've been talking all summer about getting ready for back to school, and we realized that there's this one piece we haven't really addressed yet. And that's what happens right before and right after the very first day with students.
This time of year, it's really easy to lose yourself in all of the thoughts around classroom setup and getting your systems ready. You likely have a million checklists for labeling supplies, planning procedures, or organizing desks. And of course, those things absolutely matter.
Yeah, but we know how important they are. But often what gets overlooked is you as the teacher. How do you prepare yourself, both emotionally and practically, for that huge moment when your classroom goes from organized and empty to full of real kids? What do you do with all the nerves and energy and expectations leading up to that day?
And then in just 7 short or not so short hours after they arrive, they all leave. The door closes, the room is quiet again, and I can feel that moment. You're just left standing in the whirlwind of everything that just happened. And that moment deserves some attention too.
Yeah, so today we're talking about what we're calling the back to school sandwich. So it's not lunch, although yes, definitely pack a lunch, especially on the first day, you're going to want it. But the emotional and practical layers that surround the first day of school. Because just like a good sandwich, the most important stuff might be in the middle, sure. But without the bread and the toppings on either side, it all falls apart. It's not nearly as tasty.
So that first day is the filling. Stick with us here. It's big, it's flavorful, maybe even a little messy. But what you do before and after is what's going to hold everything together. And if you take care of those two pieces, the whole thing is a lot more satisfying and a lot less likely to fall apart and stain your cute new first day of school outfit.
To make your back to school sandwich as sturdy and satisfying as possible, we're breaking it down into 3 simple categories of teacher self-care that apply before and after that all-important first day.
First is emotional prep. This is all about checking in with yourself and making sure that you're grounded and headed in the right direction. Next is the logistical basics. These are the small practical choices that make a big difference to your well-being. And finally comes your recovery plan. This is where you create space to breathe, reflect, and regroup, because the way you land matters just as much as how you launch.
So let's take a look at that bottom slice of bread, what you need to do before the first day to set yourself up for success. And we're going to start where we always start, by identifying our purpose.
Yes, it is so easy to get lost in the busyness that comes with back to school. That's how we end up running ourselves ragged. But somehow we still don't feel prepared, even though we're working nonstop. To combat this, we're going to take a couple of minutes to figure out what matters. First, stop and reflect on what kind of teacher you want to be this year. Think about the parts of teaching that bring you joy and the kind of impact you hope to have on your students.
A great addition to this exercise is setting a one-word theme to guide your year. Maybe it's steady or wonder or grace or joy. Just one word that you can come back to when things get overwhelming. You can write it on a sticky note and put it somewhere where you will see it every day.
We talked about choosing a one-word theme back in episode 27, if you want to go back in time and revisit that. But we also have some guiding questions in our back-to-school readiness checklist if you want a page that's already all set up to collect all of your thoughts.
While you're in that reflective space, the readiness checklist resource also has a goal-setting page, plus some more pages specifically focused on teacher prep, like a page for listing what you're letting go of, writing yourself permission slips, and writing a quick note of encouragement to yourself. You can print it and stick it in your plan book, your desk drawer, or even just take a screenshot and set it as your phone lock screen.
Oh, and set a reminder to take a photo of your classroom once it's all set up. You've worked so hard to get it ready. Celebrate the moment before the kids come in and mess it all up.
Now let's talk about prepping your personal launch plan. You have to remember to take care of the human behind the teacher. So map out what your ideal morning looks like on that first day. When will you wake up? What will you eat? What music will help you feel grounded?
With that vision in mind, what can you do in advance to make mornings smoother? Maybe pack your lunch, lay out your clothes, fill your teacher bag, and get your own kids' backpacks ready the night before. Every little step you can do ahead of time helps.
We shared lots of good tips for this back in episode 209, so give that a listen if you want a refresher. But another handy suggestion is to stock a desk drawer or a cabinet with your survival essentials. You may want to set up a day one emergency kit with things like tissues, Band-Aids, lozenges, and extra snacks that you want to have handy on the first day.
Yeah, in the first couple days of school, There just is not a lot of wiggle room if your contact lens gets dirty or you get a stomach ache. You're kind of stuck. So make sure you have on hand anything that you don't want to be caught without.
And I know we've mentioned this before, but one of the best gifts you can give yourself is not working late on the first day. So for that to happen, you need to prepare day 2 at the same time that you prepare day 1. We promise it's not as tricky as it sounds. Episodes 144, 145, and 146 walk you through exactly how to streamline your first day of school plans and extend that process through the first week.
Think how happy you will be at the end of that first day to waltz out of the school at 3:30 and have a long, relaxing evening ahead of you. But, first, we need to make sure that that evening is actually relaxing.
Start by deciding how you're going to transition when students leave. Will you sit quietly for 5 minutes, text a friend, take a walk around the building? Have a plan so you're not left floundering. And if you want a fun idea, make sure to listen to the end of the episode because we have a fun tip to share.
Next, create a cozy landing zone at home. Pillows, snacks, soft lighting, your favorite show all queued up. Everything you need to really relax. Stock the recovery kit we talked about in episode 209. Make it easy to take it easy. I need that on a shirt.
Yeah. Also, make an intentional plan for how you can minimize demands for a few days. Maybe your kids get extra screen time for the first week of school. Maybe you're getting more takeout than you normally do. And that's totally okay. The start of the school year is just a season. It's not your whole life.
All right. That is the before the first day of school bread slice. That's a sentence I never imagined saying. Make time to reflect on what you want to have happen, prepare for your personal launch, and set up your recovery plan.
So next comes the filling, but we have spent all summer covering the middle of this sandwich. Lesson plans, community building, classroom setup, and so much more. If you need some ideas, make sure to scroll back to some of our past summer episodes in your podcast feed.
And now we can talk about the top slice of bread, what to do after you make it through that first day. We'll follow the same pattern as we did before of figuring out your emotional prep, your logistical basics, and then your recovery plan.
Once the students leave, take 5 minutes to jot down what went well, what didn't, and what you want to try differently tomorrow. Celebrate small wins, even if the win is I made it through or I remember 5 names. Even small accomplishments deserve to be celebrated.
And there is also a sheet for this in the back to school readiness checklist. We really have thought of everything, so grab that if you don't have it already.
I always say we overthink things so that you don't have to.
Yes.
So you also want to set a reminder in your phone to take a photo of your classroom after the students leave. Notice how it's already changed because your students were there. There's something beautiful, really, about seeing that transformation.
Once you've had a moment to recover and reflect, focus on the logistics of getting day 2 set up. Hopefully, you have had a chance to prepare most of the materials in advance. If not, do whatever you can to make the morning of the second day flow as easily as possible. Yes, I know you are so tired right now, but you will probably still be that tired in the morning.
A suggestion that might help is to plan one easy win for day 2. So maybe it's a favorite read aloud, a simple game, or even showing a 15-minute video. Focus on teaching your essential procedures and activities to build your class community, and you'll have all the important stuff covered.
As you're wrapping up your workday, do what you can to protect your energy. It's totally okay to skip the chatty teacher's lounge or to say, I need to recharge, I'll catch up with you tomorrow. It's okay to be smart about your limits, even if that teacher across the hall might not understand.
Once you've cleaned up day 1 and set up day 2 and finally made it back to your front door, it's time to recover with intention. So treat yourself the way you would treat a tired toddler. Eat something comforting. Take a warm bath if you like a bath. Go to bed early. You've just done something incredibly hard and you deserve that kindness.
Use that recovery kit you prepped or start one now. Put on jammies as soon as you're home. Do a puzzle, read a book, watch a movie, get out a coloring book. Prioritize the things that give you the space to bounce back.
Or if you've got a totally different personality, maybe you want to hit the gym, re-energize with a night out, or start a brand new project. This is not our journey, but we love that for you.
No. Whatever type of recovery you need is the right choice. And like we mentioned earlier, give yourself permission to lower the bar at home. Use paper plates. Let everyone zone out on their devices for a while. Order dinner without guilt. You're not letting things slide. You're being strategic when your energy is so limited.
If you are someone with a tough inner critic, this can be hard to accept. But really, The best thing you can do during a stressful time is to give yourself grace. Nothing good comes from making yourself feel guilty for not meeting some random standard of perfection. Beating yourself up won't suddenly give you more energy. So be kind to yourself and accept that this is a normal part of such a huge transition.
I wish I had understood this back when I was teaching.
I know.
I would really beat myself up about not having it together. But you know what? This is just a few days. You will figure it out and things will get back to normal. We promise.
Plus, I think most people don't have it together. We assume everyone else has it together. I think nobody has it together. And just remember, the first day of school is just one day in a whole year of teaching, but it can feel so big and overwhelming. So remember that the real magic happens in how you prepare yourself, not just your classroom, and how you take care of yourself after.
We would love to hear your tips for what to do before and after the first day. Come join the conversation in our Teacher Approved Facebook group.
Now for our Teacher Approved Tip of the Week, where we share an actionable tip to help you elevate what matters and simplify the rest. This week's Teacher Approved Tip is to wrap up the first day of school with some fun. So tell us what you have in mind, Heidi.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. I'm doing little hand claps. That's probably terrible for the audio. Oh, but this is a fun one. Now, as you know, the first day of school leaves most of us just running on pure adrenaline. Once the kids leave, it's so easy to either dive straight into day 2 prep or get stuck in one of those never-ending hallway conversations that somehow just suck your will to live.
Yeah, that's why I love your idea of a quick cheers and chat check-in with your grade level team or maybe your teacher friends. It's just structured enough to feel special and meaningful, but it's light enough that it won't hijack your whole afternoon or require a lot of your energy.
So here's how to make it work. First, decide your goal. Are you looking to debrief the day, share a few laughs, or just celebrate that you survived? Decide if you are hosting in your classroom or somewhere else in the school, and then pick your timing. I would recommend right after dismissal because you want to grab everyone before they scatter to start prepping for tomorrow.
Then decide if you're doing this with your grade level team, just your teacher besties, or the whole staff. Keep the refreshments simple but a little special. Grab some sparkling cider, a fun mixed soda, or even chocolate milk if that's your vibe. Don't plan on something like donuts or muffins that will require an extra errand before school because we want this to be painless, not adding to your crazy first morning of school.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. And the nice thing about limiting it to a drink is you can pick it up from the store weeks in advance. And it is really easy to make things a little more special with something as simple as those dollar store champagne flutes.
Yeah, and nobody wants a bunch of extra work at the start of the school year. So disposable champagne flutes for the win. The next step is to send out an invitation a few days in advance so it doesn't get lost in the back to school chaos. Clearly promise that it will be very quick or people will not be excited to attend.
And then once everyone arrives, literally set a timer for 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. This is really important. By setting a timer, you show that you understand how stressed everyone is and that you respect their time.
And your time, because you still got stuff to do, of course.
Then offer 1 or 2 simple questions for everyone to answer. Something like, what made you smile today? Or what are you proud of right now? This keeps things moving and makes sure that everyone gets a chance to share without it turning into a whole complaint session or without a few strong personalities hijacking the whole thing. And finally, just wrap it up with a quick toast to the new school year.
It's such a simple thing, but it can transform an exhausting afternoon into a moment of real connection and perspective, all while protecting your time and energy for getting ready for tomorrow. From time to time, we all need a reminder that we're not in this alone, and it's especially important to build those relationships with your coworkers.
If this sounds like something you would be interested in doing, we have a little freebie for you. We give you a step-by-step guide for how to organize a Cheers and Chat check-in and have an editable invitation that you can use. We even include ideas for your toast to the new year and some recipes. I'm using air quotes. A few simple recipes for some fancy sodas.
Well, we're from Utah, so we know a fancy soda. Okay, so we were not going to leave you all hanging. And we'll have a link to this in the show notes where you can go grab it for free. It's a freebie.
To wrap up the show, we're sharing what we're giving extra credit to this week. Emily, what gets your extra credit?
I'm giving extra credit to ice cream taste testing.
Well, I would like to co-sign that. That was very fun.
Yeah, we did this as a family recently, and it was just so much fun. Everybody loved it. I got, 8 pints of fun ice cream flavors. So I went for like fancier brands or really unique flavors. And then I got those little plastic condiment cups. And then I put a scoop of each flavor into each cup. But I mean, by scoop, it's probably more like
a melon baller.
Yes. A robust spoonful.
Yes.
So everyone could get, maybe a couple spoonfuls out of it, just enough to taste. And then everyone would have a stack of cups to try. This way, I wasn't having to run back and forth scooping for each flavor. I did all the scooping in advance and then put it right back in the freezer to hold up. And then I numbered the cups so that we could all try the same one at the same time. And then we gave it a rating out of 10. I think last year we did it out of 5, but the kids wanted to do it out of 10 this year. So, and then I averaged all the scores. So our winner this year was Van Leeuwen, which my father speaks Dutch and he let me know I am not at all pronouncing that correctly, but you'll forgive me. It is their pistachio flavor and it was tasty and so fun. I loved it. And that was a really yummy flavor.
Yes, I was shocked.
I thought that would be the
it.
least favorite pistachio. I got it because I like pistachio and I was like, well, I'm getting it for me. But everybody loved it, even the kids. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. I've been craving it now.
Highly recommend it. We also in our family celebrate a little holiday called Flavor Day, which is Labor Day. But when my youngest was much younger, she thought it was Flavor Day and kept calling it Flavor Day. And we decided that from henceforth, it shall be known as Flavor Day. And so we usually go get ice cream. So if you would like to adopt Flavor Day for your own family, I think an ice cream taste test would be an excellent way to celebrate that.
Yes, that would be perfect.
And this is the exact kind of thing we talk about on our other podcast, The Holiday Head Start. So if you want to hear more about traditions and ice cream, come on over to The Holiday Head Start. That was an unplanned plug.
And we really would love to have you there.
Yeah.
If how we plan back to school resonates with you, you will love how we plan Christmas.
Get a load of how we prepare for Christmas.
Oh boy. Yeah, you're
we
not ready.
We overthought that one too, so you don't have to. What are you giving extra credit to, Heidi?
Well, I'm giving extra credit to the book, The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I think the second in this series just came out recently, which I haven't read yet, but just read The Spell Shop and it was so sweet. I love a cozy fantasy. And this just checked all the right boxes. The blurb on Amazon calls it a Hallmark rom-com full of mythical creatures and fueled by cinnamon rolls and magic. And I could not have summed it up any better.
Sign me up.
So I'm not sure how to pronounce this character's name. That is the downside to fantasy novels is how do we say these names? We don't know. So I'm just going to give it my best guess. But the premise is that librarian Kyla and her sentient spider plant Kaz, I was calling him Kaz, but I don't know if that's right. They escape a revolution and return to the tiny island where Kyla grew up. Her goal is to build a life while at the same time hiding the forbidden magic books that she saved from the burning library. And so she ends up opening a jam shop that just happens to sell spells on the side. And of course, along the way, she learns that life is better when you have other people to trust. It's very sweet and imaginative. If you're looking for something to escape into, after a long first day of school, it's just the perfect little getaway into imagination.
Oh, I love it. I'm putting on my TBR right now. Taking care of the teacher is just as important as taking care of the day itself. That is a lesson it took us a long time to actually let ourselves believe.
And it's a big part of what we wanted to capture in our new book, which we are excited to say is officially out in the world.
Yes, Structure and Spark released this week, and we still cannot quite believe it's real. It is our guide to navigating the predictable seasons of the school year with both the structure that holds you steady and the spark that makes the work worth doing.
If you've been waiting to grab your copy, this is the moment. Head to the show notes for the link or visit secondstorywindow.net/book. And if you've already bought it, thank you so much. But now one more ask. Leaving a review really does make such a difference. It's how new readers can find our book.
And if you're looking for a back-to-school gift for a teacher that you love, can I recommend Structure and Spark as a back-to-school gift? I think they'll love it.
And we will be back next Thursday with our final Can't Miss classic of the summer.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Teacher Approved. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow or subscribe in your podcast apps so that you never miss an episode.
You can connect with us and other teachers in the Teacher Approved Facebook group. We'll see you here next week. Bye for now.
Bye.